Buenas noches a las todos. Welcome back to another episode of Los Lobos de la Lucha, your weekly CMLL Post-Show Breakdown here at BC WrestlePod. My name is Mikey. I am El Jefe of BC WrestlePod, and don't adjust those television, kids, because yes, you are seeing two people on screen, which is crazy because it hasn't been like that for the last couple of weeks. It's been nuts. But I got Papa also back. For a little bit at least, and then he will disappear into the ether again. He is going on a pilgrimage. He's learning about Lucha Libre, and he will be debuting in CMLL sometime soon. But I am happy to have you back. I truly am. Ah, already starting. Yep. I'm trying to click on things and things are not happening, but yep. Hey, look. Glad you're back. Oh, primo. Shout out to Primo. I have to give him kudos for holding it down with me for the last couple of weeks and being the person to bounce this back and forth with. But yeah, Papa Oso is back, and what a time to come back as we are heading into this show that we're going to be talking about this upcoming Friday show, which is nuts, and I can't wait to discuss that. But before we get into all the CMLL goodness of this evening, as we always do here at BC WrestlePod, let me run through the announcements, the intro headers, if you will. Twitch, YouTube, and Kick is where you can see us go live. YouTube also has the edited versions of these lives that go up the following day, every single day of the week at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to run it back and you are part of the replay crew, thank you. And those are a lot more digestible because I edit out all the crazy stuff, though some of it still manages to keep itself in. We also are aware that these lives might be a little long, and if you're looking for something more manageable for your time and your mental capacity, then you could pick your favorite social media site. Follow us at BC WrestlePod, where you can get get our report cards, predictions, previews of all the weekly television that we cover here, which is a lot, and lots of other fun stuff as well. We also have some merchandise available for you if that is something that you are looking for to rep BC WrestlePod in your everyday life. You can find that at bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com. And last but certainly not least, we pay for a lot of streaming services. And so to help us pay for these streaming services and to keep doing what we're doing, every so often in the Twitch and the YouTube chat, Coffee Bot will be popping in. You may donate, but it is not a requirement to be here because we love you for being here regardless. And we know financially times are tough right now in this economy, but every little bit helps. And if you choose to donate, we appreciate you, but we are also glad that you are here. Alrighty. Now with that out of the way, let's get into this because we got lots of lucha libre to talk about. And boy, howdy, what an episode! It has been an interesting couple of weeks. We've kind of briefly swung back into the swing of things. Of course, we still have a good chunk of our folks still in Japan for Fantastica Mania. They are making their way back in a couple of weeks. And we have been following some interesting developments when it comes to certain AEW stars popping in and out of CMLL over the last couple of weeks. I'm going to talk about one of them because they were in the main event of the show. But let's jump straight into it. So we kick off this past Viernes Espectacular with a relevo sencillo. So we have our Pequeños Estrellas back in action and in full effect, opening up the show here. And this was the team of Angelito and Galaxy taking on the team of Minos Uno and Minos Dos. And once again, opening matches here in the Viernes Espectacular will usually be an indicator of what kind of crowd we were going to get and whether or not the energy will carry throughout the night. I'm happy to see the Micro Estrellas. It's felt like a hot minute since we've seen these individuals in general, but also the Micro Estrellas start off the show. I mean, last week that I was here, we talked about how the first six opening matches last week were all Relampago matches for the Torneo de Escuelas. So that was a lot of fun, but it's really nice to get back to a proper opening match here for Viernes Espectacular. This was a fun opener. This was some good work from people, as Primo is commenting that these four put on some good work, and this was a really fun opener. It was a really fun match for sure for me, and I was just like, ah, yes, we are back into the swing of CMLL. Last week was crazy with all the Torneo de Escuelas matches, and we're going to talk about that one in a little bit. But a really fun opener, and I thought this was a really solid bout. Papa Oso back into the swing of things. It's been a hot minute, but
Hmm.
you come straight back into the action. So, what did you think of our opener?
I thought it was fun and silly to a point, I guess, but not in a bad way, like in a really good way. It was one of those matches that just sort of it kind of put me like in a good place. It was one of those. I came in, I was watching, I was coming in with a crappy day, and then I watched, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. It was like a warm hug welcoming me back.
Oh,
It
it has
was. It
been a
was
good,
super cool. It was super fun.
it has been a couple of weeks, so I'm really glad that you came back and you're just like, I have missed this. No, so Primo also coming in with some additional thoughts. Just a nice let the high flying guys do their thing, and the Rudos were there to be the base. Absolutely. So again, this was a really, really fun match. Really nice way to open up the night. And this was a really, really fun way to kick things off. Of course, after a very nice and fun back and forth, this would end up being, Angelito and Galaxy would take the win here. But it was a really nice opener, solid work from everyone. So after this match, we get into our second one, which is I was just like, all right, why up the ante with four people when you can have six? So we get a Relevo Australiano match, and this is quite the cast of characters for this one. So on one side, you have Magia Blanca, El Adas, and Hijo del Pantera taking on the team of Felino Jr., El Cobarde, and Guerrero Maya Jr. And I'm just like, all right, boys, let's see what we're going to do. And I was just like, all right, bodies are flying everywhere. Everyone's doing stuff. I was like, okay, this is going to be a fun one. And a fun one it was. It was really, really good. For me personally, I was like, dang, it's been a hot minute since I've seen you good at Omaya Jr. No, and exactly, Primo. That is exactly what I was saying too. It's just good to see Guerrero Maya Jr. because it's been a hot minute since I've seen him on my Friday screen. But I was just like, all right, boys, what are we going to get? And this was another fun one. I have to give CMLL credit because we are getting a lot of people we don't normally see on a Friday show on a consistent basis. And again, because we have a good chunk of our roster out in Japan doing Fantastica Mania stuff, we get to see a bunch of these folks who are still holding down the fort while we have our I don't want to say towards the top of the card, folks over in Japan, doing mixing it up with the New Japan stars, which has been fun from what I've seen so far. So shout out to CMLL for holding it down. But yeah, as far as this match goes, again, I thought this was a really another fun one. I am really happy to see Guerrero Maya Jr. back. And this was a really solid match from all six individuals. So Papa Oso, second match, 3-on-3. What did you think?
And it was another good one. And I'm going to piggyback on what you were talking about the top of the card being gone, and I think this is I think it's a good thing, um, because it does give these guys that we don't see often on a Friday a chance to really kind of come out and show what they are capable of. And I thought this was a good one. I thought this really, for the folks that we haven't seen in a while, it was nice to see them back in the ring and kind of, it felt I don't know, I don't even know the words, but it was sort of it was nice just to see these guys that we haven't seen consistently. It almost felt like this is exactly the way it was supposed to be, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It didn't feel like it was a substitute. It felt like it's always been this way. And I really liked that. Um And yeah, this was just it was just fun. I thought all 6 guys performed pretty well. Um, and yeah, I mean, it was a good match. I mean, I thought it was a pretty good follow-up to the opening match, so
Absolutely. So Primo coming in with some of his closing thoughts. He will say though, Stuka Jr. is better with Felino Jr. and El Cobarde than Guerrero Maya Jr. in his opinion. They do way more tag moves. Not that this was bad though, just a different vibe with the Rudo team, which is fair. And then also, Hijo del Pantera was going hard with his fam in the Escuela final. We're gonna get to that in a little bit, but again, this was a really solid match. This was another fun one. It would be Felino Jr., El Cobarde, and Guerrero Maya Jr. to beat Magia Blanca, El Adas, and Hijo de Pantera. Alrighty, we've been waiting. It has been going on for the next week. But in our third match, we get the finals of the 2026 Torneo de Escuelas. So we started out with 12 teams, which led last Friday into the first 6 matches of last episode of last Viernes Espectacular was 6 Relampago matches where it was an elimination style tag team versus tag team match. And then we whittled it down to these final 3. So in the finals of the Torneo de Escuelas, we had representing Querétaro, which was in the form of Pantera Jr. and Psychotic. Representing CDMX, number 1, we had Estudiante Jr. and Feroz. And then, of course, also representing CDMX number 2, we had Tornado and Rey Pegasus. And this was a triple threat elimination style match where the last team standing would be the winner and would be crowned the 2026 Torneo de Escuelas winner. It has been a ride to get here, and this was a lot of fun to watch. Again, we have been introduced to almost 24 new students who participated in the last week and a half, and these are the final 6. And my goodness, I had a blast with this one again because these are the new CMLL kids representing their schools. A lot of them having come from, some people. If I remember correctly, I know especially Estudiante Jr. and Feroz come from Ultimo Guerrero School of Wrestling. So it was really fun to see. It was really fun to see for sure. Um, no, I agree with you, Primo. I think last year's was a lot crazier, but it was still really fun this year. And yes, compared to last year, the elimination style to get to where we were for this match definitely helped out. And hopefully CMLL will keep that. But they play hard and fast with the rules. So we love to see that. Um, but I had a blast with this one. I thought this was really fun. This was a really solid match. Papa also, what did you think of this one?
this one was great. I mean, it was I mean, comparing to last year, okay. But, and I missed a couple of the eliminations. But overall, I thought this was pretty spectacular. I like this a whole lot. Like I really liked it a lot. I mean, I thought they all did well. I mean, I felt like they did well. And the other thing I want to talk about real quick, and this is kind of off, and it's not really off the topic. It is on the topic. I love the fact that there's schools and not like gyms. They're not like, oh, oh, I belong to so and so's gym. Or I like the fact, and maybe it's just the educator in me. I don't know, but I love when they're like, it's the schools, different schools. It kind of reminds me of a certain, Wizarding World type of thing. You know, but I just love that aspect of this is kind of why I love this whole culture of wrestling is it's so different than like the sort of idea of American style wrestling. And I just love the whole culture behind it. So that's a completely kind of off topic, on topic, but I just love that. I just love that whole concept of that. So, but overall, I thought that was weird. My mic muted randomly. Um, I really liked, and I have to agree, Ray Pegasus was pretty spectacular. Um, but I thought they all did really, really well. I thought this was a really strong match. You know, there was a lot going on, but I really liked it. And you kind of had a good mix of styles, not necessarily styles, but sort of like, well, yeah, I guess styles. And I really enjoyed it. I thought this match kind of had everything. I mean, it really kind of
Mhm.
had everything that I just love about this style of wrestling. So this was a really good one for me.
I agree with you here. And again, because of the escuela is important because it gets to see, we might be seeing a lot of these folks be popping in and out throughout the year. And kind of like what Primo is saying too, Estudiante and Feroz are guaranteed spots in CMLL. So Tornado and Pegasus getting the dub was nice to see. Was a bit of surprise, to be honest. And Estudiante Jr. especially is ready to go right now, in my opinion. Yeah, this big beefy man in the middle right here, Estudiante Jr. I was just like, oh, Ultimo Guerrero's fingerprints are all over it, and I cannot wait. I was like, you are a big man, and I appreciate it. This is great. Oh, and just to give some info, thank you, Primo, because there wasn't from left to right in the picture. So, Pantera Jr. and Psychotic, their teacher is Rey Cometa. Ultimo Guerrero is the teacher for Estudiante Jr. and Feroz. And then Magia Blanca is the teacher of our winners, Tornado and Ray Pegasus. So, really good stuff. I was really happy to see Rey Cometa's kids make it this far in the tournament, too. Like, it was great. There was a lot of good teachers, like, having their students represent, and, because you had Volador Junior's students participate in this too, and they were a lot of fun to watch. It was just fun all around, but it would be Ray Pegasus and Tornado to pick up the win here, and they are your 2026 Torneo de Escuelas winners. This was a lot of fun. I'm sad that Torneo de Escuelas is over, but I'm looking forward to next year's already. Alrighty. So we made it to the halfway point of the show. We got 3 matches to still talk about next. So let's get into the second half of the show with this match. Ooh! So, and last bit, no joke. Try to pay attention to anyone coming out of Reiko Meta School, one of the best trainers in Primo's personal opinion. We love to see that. All right, let's get into this because we got a number one contenders match. The winner would be moving on to this Friday's edition of Viernes Espectacular to compete for the CMLL Women's Championship. So of course we have our girl Persephone taking on Olympia, and damn, they threw the house down boots.
This was like a clash of the titans. Like it was so like every time a hit was made or every time a near pin was done, I literally felt the ground shake. You know, because Persephone is my girl and I freaking love her, but Olympia is like right up there with her. So this was sort of a dream right here. This felt like a dream. I was like, I needed to pinch myself. Am I dreaming? Because this is amazing.
Was like, got the meat sweats. I was just like, beefy women. We love to see it. So it's been really fun over the last couple of months. Again, Persephone is our homegirl. We love her. Olympia is been in back in CMLL for a little bit now after her excursion in Japan. And yeah, it was literally Persephone being a strong woman and taking on the shit brick house. Olympia, like, girl, these muscles in this picture. I was like, hot damn. And not to bypass the rest of the match because I had such a blast with this, but the ending of this match is what sold me on everything. The fact that Persephone is able to carry Olympia and literally just like over her head and then deliver the finisher was fantastic. I was just like, God, what core strength that I wish I had. But this was a really great match. I had so much fun with this. And Primo chiming in with this one, great match. The only downside was the crowd. They kind of predetermined Persephone was winning, and they really didn't get into the match at the very end. Yeah, I have beef with this crowd a little bit during this match. It's like, listen, I know women's wrestling is not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm like, come on now. I'm like, this match ruled. And I'm starving. I was like, how dare you? But Mexico, we still love you. God, this match ruled. I have nothing else to say, but
It
this
was
match
so
ruled.
good. It was so good.
And Persephone would beat Olympia, so Persephone will be challenging for the CMLL Women's Championship this upcoming
Yep.
Friday. More on that when we preview what's coming up.
You know, and I
But
have to
yeah,
real quick. I have to comment on Lo-Fi's comment about the crowd. You
uh-huh.
know, I didn't even pay attention to the crowd during this match. Like, you know, normally I am very much aware of the crowd, but for some reason I did not even pay attention to them. I didn't even realize they weren't being. So when he said that, I was like, "Really? They were?" Now I have to go back and watch it again. But no, I literally was just like, uh, I just wasn't pay. I didn't pay attention to them at all during this
Mm,
match.
that's fair. And so Primo clarifying the crowd, not the Survivor noise was another issue that night. Lots of empty seats, and that we kind of figure because we have a lot of the big names in Japan right now, but that's okay though. I am hoping and I am praying, given to what we're getting this Friday. I'm like, I hope they sell that arena out because as somebody who watches multiple women's promotions across the world, for me, this shit is making me excited. But we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Up the price of this show too. Dang. Hey, you know what? Get this money out here. At the end of the day, CMLL is a promotion, but they are also a business and they got bills to pay, which is okay. But again, Persephone is moving on to this Friday's episode. We're going to talk about her in a little bit, but let's get into our semi main event, which was a triangular match for the CMLL World Heavyweight Championship por el Campeonato Mundial Completo CMLL. So, of course, this is the champion, AEW's Claudio Castagnoli, defending the title against Akuma and Euphoria. And I was just like, well, damn, we're about to see some people fight. And fists were thrown, indeed. Fists were thrown. I was like, this is okay. So Akuma and Euphoria are big boys in general. So that's nothing. But Claudio also is basically, for those of us who play D&D, he is the brawler. He is the pugilist. He will knock you upside the head if he needs to. So it's really interesting for me at least, and Primo, you kind of mentioned it a couple of weeks ago because watching CMLL do triple threats like this, I was just like, it's been kind off-putting is not the word, but it has taken me a little bit to get adjusted to it because I'm like, triple threats is more of like what I see when I watch American wrestling here in the States, where we get a lot of triple threats and you throw everybody on the card. So, I mean, I had fun with this, but I really didn't get too much from it, if that makes sense. I was just like, oh, this is a cool match. Oh, what's next? Okay. Like it was here to be here for a reason.
It was okay. I mean, I didn't hate it. It was all right. It was okay. I mean, it had, you know, Euphoria, who I love, and but I mean, it was sort of like, yeah, it wasn't as impactful as I thought it would be. You know, because it was a championship match, and I thought for some reason, and maybe this is just my American brain, I don't know. I just thought it would be more. It would feel heavier, like weightier. I don't know. It was really weird. There was something weird. There was something off about it, and I don't really know what it is, and I can't tell. I can't articulate what it was. So, um, we lost Mikey. That's weird. Yeah, so it's just me. Okay. So, yeah. So this match was it was okay. No, it really was. I don't know. Maybe you guys lost me, and I'm just talking. Um, yeah, that's true. I mean, the outcome was very predictable for some reason. I mean, it was very predictable. I don't know. It was weird. I don't know. I agree. I'm sorry. I'm agreeing with Agent Lo-Fi.
It's okay, yeah.
Yeah, that it was kind of predictable. Like, and maybe that was part of my problem with it. I don't know. There was something about this match that I can't put my finger on that just kind of like, oh, okay. And I just thought it would be more exciting, I guess. Maybe that's my problem. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, again, I enjoyed the match, but what I've come to learn from CMLL triple threats is that the stakes are usually lowered, and in this case, I kind of figured that Claudio wasn't going to lose this championship in this match in particular. Excuse me, but it was still a fun one. But I was like, okay, well, I mean, this was pretty good. So Claudio Castagnoli retains the CMLL World Heavyweight Championship, and we'll see just much longer he's going to hold it too. So, alrighty. So before we get into our main event of this past episode of Viernes Espectacular, this is kind of the last call, if you will, so to speak. If you are looking to follow us across any of the social media platforms, you can click the link in the chat now. We also have our store with our merch that you can also check out as well. So you can explore that while we get into our main event. So, two men with glorious long hair entered the arena. By the end of it, one of them came out bald. So, in the main event of this episode of Viernes Espectacular, we had a cabellera match. So, a hair versus hair match. And of course, this also ended up being a CMLL versus AEW hair versus hair match. See, on the CMLL side of things, we have Angel de Oro, one half of Los Hermanos Chavez. And then, of course, on the AEW side, we have Johnny Consejo, Johnny Mundo, Johnny TV, by all the last names that he goes by. And I'm not gonna lie, I was highly entertained. I was just like, this was stupid. Primo. After after the dumb chin lock spots, I absolutely this match was fun. It was stupid, but there was also a lot of high athleticism as well. I was just like, I forgot, Johnny, how much I actually liked you wrestling. I was like, Jonathan, this was fun. There's a lot of close spots too. I was just like, "Oh, they're not actually gonna let Angel win, are they?" But there was a few times I was like, "Oh my god, I think Angel is about to lose this match." It was
Yeah.
so close. I was entertained. I was like, "This
hmm
was such a fun main event," and this crowd was into it.
hmm It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this one. I don't know Johnny Consejo. I don't know who he is. I didn't know who he was. I was like, okay, I don't know why this match is happening, but I'm here for it. So anytime it's either mask versus mask or hair versus hair, I'm here for it. So yeah, and I agree with Agent Lo-Fi. Yeah, eventually, I mean, it started out okay, and then I really got it. Then I really got into it. There was a moment, probably about a quarter of the way in, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'm here for it now. I'm here for it. So, but I really enjoyed this. It was fun and stupid all at the same time. I guess there was a lot of, yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it was very US style at the beginning. Thank goodness they got out of that. They had a
Yeah,
great match. The crowd
yeah.
was with this one the whole way.
Yeah. This one was, yeah, overall, I thought this was a great ender. I thought this was a great main event. I really did.
This is a
So,
really fun send the crowd home happy.
yeah, it
And send
was.
the crowd home happy they did because Angel de Oro would win, which would mean Johnny Consejo loses his hair. And it was really funny. I forgot to put the picture in here, but Johnny's reaction after realizing he is now bald was hilarious. Taya, I love you. Damn, girl. Damn, your husband is now bald. Oh man, and this has been a really fun story that we've been having over the last couple of weeks. Wow, our card is in Japan right now, so damn. But that was your main event for this past episode of Viernes Espectacular. And that takes care of the review portion of our show. Now, we always like to preview what's coming up on Viernes Espectacular on the Friday CMLL show. But instead of just doing the poster and the tiny little font, I have decided what better way. No, 100%. Also, the CMLL Clippers don't fuck around. Those things, I could hear it through the T on my computer screen. I'm like, oh shit, those things are sharp. Take notes, US. This is how we use clippers because those clippers are for real. They will chop your hair off as soon as they get there. But to preview this upcoming episode, instead of just doing the poster and then those tiny little, text that I have on the slide, I have grabbed the official graphics for this Friday show. And because they deserve it, because guys, it's the Women's Day show this upcoming Friday in Arena Mexico. So it is all women's wrestling. And I don't know if it was planned this way, but this whole weekend across the world, everything that we're covering next week is all women's show. I mean, it is International Women's Month, so shout out to all the women wrestlers and just women in general. We are not worthy. Um so I'm really excited though. So let's preview this because this is a ginormous global crossover between AEW, Stardom, and CMLL. So we're getting some of our girls from the US, we're getting some girls from Japan, and of course, representing our home turf of Mexico is the CMLL squad. So let's get into this, shall we? Because there is a lot of matches, and I am excited for this one. I'm like, are we watching a pay-per-view? Because there's like 7 to 8 matches on this card. I was like, oh, I cannot wait. But to kick things off, we do have a championship match por el campeonato nacional femenil de parejas. So this is for the national tag team championships. And so this sees our champions, our girls, Kita and Scotty, who it's been a hot minute since I've seen Scotty. I've missed you. And they are taking on the challengers of Metallica and Candela. So this should be a really, really fun match. So the national women's tag team championships are on the line. But don't touch that dial because we got some other fun stuff too. Because we are also getting a mano a mano match, so one on one, and this is touted as CMLL versus Stardom. So we have Dark Silhouette defending the home turf against Stardom's and Japan's own Micah. Listen, as somebody who covers Stardom, like I love the Stardom girls that we have gotten last year, but they sent some of their heavy hitters for this one, and I, for one, cannot wait. So Micah is a lot of fun, and I can't wait for her and Dark Silhouette to throw down. But we are also getting a Relevos Increíbles. So this is going to be La Catalina and Sanelli taking on Kira and Gara Negra. So this should be really, really fun to watch as well. And then, of course, what is a Women's Day show without the inaugural La Copa Irma Gonzalez? So this is a triangular por la Copa Irma Gonzalez. So this is seeing Marcela, La Magnifica, and Princesa Suhuit, taking this on. I was just like, yes, our elder statesman girls are about to fight for this. I don't know the age of La Magnifica, but it should be really, really fun. But then it just gets better. We get another mano a mano match, this time CMLL versus AEW. We have the powerhouse Zuxis taking on one of my favorite girls right now in AEW, Miss Mina Shirakawa. This is going to really, really good. I am so excited, but I'm going to just let this next picture stay here because I'm like, you want to talk about shit brick house versus shit brick house? Holy shit. One-on-one, mano a mano, CMLL versus AEW. Olympia versus the mega sis Megan Bain. I'm like, their muscles alone. I'm like, I'm so ready for this match. This is gonna be two beefy women fighting each other, and I'm just Megan. Please don't disappoint. I love you so much, and I love showing people your matches, but I need you to not disappoint because this is why I don't recommend things because people will be disappointed if they're not good. But yeah, this is Powerhouse versus powerhouse. These two women are going to beat the hell out of each other, and I'm here for it. Love to see it. But in our semi-main event, we also get the we get the CMLL women's championship match, so different from the national titles. Yes, I was I was just kind of hoping they have a bench press contest, but a fight works too. God, they could probably outlift everybody, and it would be great. But back to this, so for the CMLL Women's Championship, we have La Jarochita and Lluvia defending the titles against our Stardom girls. And when I saw this, I was just like, I cried tears of joy because, again, as somebody who covers Stardom, they sent some of their heavy hitters. So La Jarochita and Lluvia will be defending the titles against May Seta, and of course, the only women's luchador and Stardom herself, Starlight Kid, is in the building, and I am so excited to see Starlight Kid here. She is so good, and I cannot wait to see her mix it up with, Las Chicas Indonables. Cannot wait. But then in our main event, she's back, y'all. Mercedes Monet is back in the building to defend her CMLL Women's Championship against Persephone. This match is going to rule. I'm kind of pulling for Persephone to win this match and get this title home back in CMLL, but this match is going to be good. And Primo brings something very important. Really hoping this show does good ticket wise. If they beat last Friday, that'd be a huge success and very doable. Guys, please sell out the Amazonas night show. Please, women's wrestling. This card is stacked. I'm going to definitely be tuning in because as somebody who watches a bunch of wrestling promotions, as if I don't have a little time as it is already, I'm really excited for this show because it's going to be great. And women's wrestling, once again, carries us through 2026 as it has always. So, yeah, I'm excited for this show. This is going to be a good one. And I'm just really excited to see the Stardom girls, the AEW girls, and our CMLL girls mix it up. And this is kind of leading into what's going down at the end of the month because you have a bunch of all these talent is going to be great. But you have Ring of Honor and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling also having Stardom and CMLL girls and CMLL talent a part of their 2-night event. So that's gonna be great. Ooh, Primo giving some predictions. He thinks that Mercedes Monet is dropping the title, but that's just me. And then the next logical time wouldn't be until September, October, which is when we get to the Amazonas month, which is a very long time. So we'll see if Mercedes drops this title on Friday, and we will be here next Wednesday to break it all down for you. But yeah, that's going to be it for us here tonight. Once again, I'm Papa Oso. I'm really happy that you are back. You're back, and I cannot wait to cover the Amazonas night show with you next Wednesday. We have one more thing happening this week. Of course, this Friday we have our TNA post show in which we're going to talk about TNA and continue to question the decisions that they make in terms of booking. But it's going to be fun. I really do enjoy hanging out with my peeps on Friday, and it's always a fun way to start the weekend. And then next week is a stacked week. Monday, we are, breaking down the New Japan show that happened here in the United States. Then we also have our AEW post show on Tuesday, where we are going to be reviewing the Go Home edition and making our predictions for Revolution, which is the first pay per view for AEW for 2026. And of course, I will be in attendance as it is taking place in my backyard, 2 hours away in Los Angeles. So I will be in the building. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Then next Wednesday, we are bringing back the NXT PLE squad because we will be breaking down Vengeance Day, which is happening this Saturday. Of course, I will be watching it from home, and and one of our hosts, Kilt, who lives in the area, will be in attendance live for Vengeance Day. So he gets to see all the crazy stuff go down. So he gets to see the Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley match for the Women's North American Championship. But more importantly, he gets to see the Jada Parker and Blake Monroe street fight. So that's going to be crazy. And we're going to break that all down Wednesday. And then, of course, later that night, the women's show for CMLL. Thursday, we're continuing with the trend of women's wrestling as we will be debuting our new team as we are, adding in Eve, the battle, Girls of Battle Riot promotion, which is an all women's promotion in the UK. And we will be reviewing Wrestle Queendom 8. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then, we end the week with TNA next Friday as well. But that's going to be it for us here tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, thank you, Primo, for being a part of this. And we look forward to seeing you all next week, same time, same place. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay biconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We'll see you Friday for TNA. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.